My name is Lenny Hernandez, and welcome to the Paradiso podcast, all about the short film that I produced and starred in, Paradiso. The people that we have today representing the Paradiso podcast: myself, Lenny Hernandez, producer, actor; Justin DeFreece, associate producer; Jonna Volz, director; and the lead actress herself, Imari Stout. Thank you so much for watching this, you all. And as you can see, we're kind of getting set up right now. And as we get a little bit closer, we will release you all into the podcast itself.
Get on sound.
So actually, yeah, Justin, give me something. Say something just directly into yours, Justin.
Check mic.
Y'all good over there? We're going to start. Cool? Sweet. Yo, hello, everybody. What a great time to sit around and chat with some of my favorite people in the world.
I mean,
you, of course, Justin, and Imari. Pleasure to have you here, sitting down, chatting all about Paradiso, which is the short film that we all were a part of. What seems like years ago, because I think it was 2 or 3 summers ago that we...
two years ago now, yeah.
Summer 2021, so two years ago?
I think that's right.
Yeah.
And then it took almost 18 full months to get the post-production completed on it. Let's introduce everybody real quick. My name is Lenny Hernandez. Hello. And I am the lead actor and producer for Paradiso. We have Justin DeFreece. Justin worked as on the production side of Paradiso and will soon get probably a production or a producer credit on this.
Hey, maybe we'll see. You know, I guess producer Lenny's got to give that to me, but as long as he makes it happen.
That was him giving it to you.
Well, I guess I'm a producer now. So
he's helped so much. And Imari, lead actor in it. Not only that, but like something huge that you did that I don't know that you did that you should take full credit for is the fact that like whenever we had our original linear cut edit of it, we sent it to you and you said, "Oh, this is okay, but why don't we do this?" And so then
what you said was good.
It was just okay.
I just had ideas.
It was okay. Yeah, exactly. And so Imari had ideas. She sent us then like not even 2 hours later, probably even less than that. She pulled it from YouTube somehow, and then she cut it on her phone and sent us a different version of our movie that we were like, oh, that's better than what we did. That is far better than what we did, specifically with the way that we did a bunch of jump cuts in the beginning and then the way to end the film. So thank you for that.
I was inspired by you guys. So.
Yeah. Well, why don't we, Justin, tell us a little bit about yourself real quick, make it brief, and then I'll pass it over to you, but of course then ask Imari about herself, and then we'll go from there.
Grew up in Springfield, Missouri, wanted to be an actor, went to school for that, went out to LA, failed miserably, came back here, and soon to be potentially moving back out there to give it a second go.
Really?
The next 2 to 3 years, I'm planning on trying to be back out there. Learned a lot, gave me a lot of perspective, and think I'm better equipped now to be successful than when I was 22. So, just all about life's all about perspective. So thankful for that. Happy to be part of the film. Love filmmaking, love telling stories, love art, love anything that has to do with social change, which is partly why I loved being a part of this film, especially after living in LA. I know, Imari, you've been to some big cities. Lenny, we lived together in LA for a little bit, seeing the disparity, pulling up to a stoplight and seeing in between you and a homeless encampment is a Lamborghini. It's pretty eye-opening. So I was really happy to be part of this film and be a part of some change.
Fun fact, Imari lived in LA for a brief period of time as well. I think that's all.
I actually forgot about that.
Yeah.
Before we filmed this, I had just come back to Springfield a year and some change prior to filming this. So.
Well, and that's actually where I met you.
It is
in LA
with Teague.
Yeah,
at dinner.
So our common thread here is that our drama teacher, we went to the same high school. And so our drama teacher had,
you went to Central? Okay.
yeah, she
Well,
came,
I transferred to
At
Central.
one time.
Oh,
The
Okay.
last year and a half of my high school career, I went to Kickapoo.
Oh, but
I was gross.
screw Kickapoo.
Was
So-
not
Yikes.
involved.
I'll say that now. Screw
yikes, we
Kickapoo.
might cut that at the end.
Yeah.
We're gonna
No,
alienate
don't
some-
let them know, because I actually left because I wasn't able to be involved in drama and acting. And I found way more opportunity at Central, which I think speaks volumes about the faculty there. Gretchen Teague being the drama teacher, which is Lenny and I's mutual friend. And that could be life-changing for a high school student or for a child.
100%.
So
100%.
yeah, we met because Teague was in LA for a school event, and I forget what it is now specifically.
I have no idea what she was there for. Some kind of conference. Who knows?
It was a conference.
Yeah, but what
had
she
a
did
dinner.
was she texted a handful of us that were there, which is only 3
Yeah.
potentially Central kids, me being one, Imari being another one, and then a student that she had that was going to USC's film school.
Oh, wow.
As a writer. And so she
That's
was like
right.
she was like 19 or 20.
Wow.
And so we met up, and that's where you and I met with them. So interesting.
Small world.
And then
Small world.
we
Yes.
whenever we start, and let's talk about Paradiso a little bit with that, is that we well, Imari, tell us about you before we jump into that. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I was born and raised in Springfield, where we shot it, and Springfield, Missouri, because there's a lot of Springfields. And
like 52, 40,
There's so
42 of the 50 states
I
or
think 30, 38 or 42.
That's it. Yeah,
I think
38.
I think 38.
which is probably why The Simpsons takes place in Springfield. It's like
Yeah.
the generic
It's everywhere, yeah.
American
Well, I mean, that's
town.
why The Simpsons picked Springfield.
Yeah,
You know?
that's what you literally just
Sorry, I
echoed
didn't-
exactly what
Exactly.
she
Sorry,
said.
I'm on a mic. I can't hear. I don't got my
Yes,
earpiece
but that's
in.
exactly the sentiment. I mean, that can give you an idea of what this town is like. And then I moved to LA. I went to Drury University for a year, and then I moved to LA right after I turned 19, and I was there up until the
Wow,
pandemic.
19 in LA. Wow, I
Well,
thought
it
22
was
in LA.
we were on the struggle
was
bus.
was a trip, man. That was okay.
That was a questionable decision on my behalf.
No.
I mean,
But
you did it though.
I did it.
You
And
did
it
something
grew
a lot
on
of
me.
people couldn't do. So you should hold your head high on that
Super
one.
high. Yeah.
Oh, well, thanks. Well, I had,
And maybe that's just from
opportunity.
someone else moving out there and failing. But at 22,
Also,
didn't
stop saying
fail.
failing.
You
know,
didn't
you
fail.
learned
You
something.
did it.
Yeah.
no. I can't say I failed.
I think
I
too.
left on my own accord.
When
and
I go
can say
back,
that.
it'll be the
I can say
third
that.
time I go. So
Really?
yeah.
Like living there?
Yeah. I'll go back at some point for
We'll
sure.
all live there again.
Yeah,
And we'll do
so
another
I'll-
podcast when we all live there.
My joints can't handle this weather. I got.
I'm over
my-
it. We're approaching winter now, and I'm worried.
My arthritis is bad.
Right. So Imari, how did you get into Paradiso? How did it happen? I guess I don't fully
You don't
know.
remember?
I don't remember.
You reached out to me, and maybe it was on like Facebook or
Probably,
something,
yeah.
about doing this project, and you specifically mentioned that Teague had referred me, and I was like, oh, and obviously if it's dealing with her, I'm like, yes, because she's, incredibly talented. I've learned so much from her. She's a trustworthy person. She's a wonderful friend. So I was interested. Then you sent me the script, and I looked over it. And then I think that was when I found out Jonna was involved. Jonna Volz, the director. And I had wanted to work with her because I had heard so many wonderful things about her, and having people like that in this small little town is such a gift. So, and I hadn't worked with you yet at that point. So I was interested, and that was when I signed on. That was probably, like a month or two before.
Shit, if it was 2 months prior to, that would be shocking to me.
It might have, it was like within the beginning of that summer, I want to say. We shot it in that summer, like June, July.
Yeah.
And so it would have been previously that summer. And then I signed on, and it was just one of those projects that was smaller. So that was nice. And everyone knew what they were doing. And it was, I don't know. I'm happy I did it. It was really fun.
I don't remember any of that.
Really?
The story, not story, but I guess what I remember is I do remember reaching out to Gretchen and saying, hey, do you have somebody brown, female, that could play opposite of me. And then she did, she said you for sure.
Well, there's only so many of us.
Yeah, exactly. In town. And so, and so I reached out, and I feel like I reached out, and then I would be shocked if it was that far out that we gave you a notice. There
was enough time that I had gotten to go back and forth about the script a little bit before we actually, because you had a few script revisions before we filmed.
I was going to say, because I think it was about 6 weeks before that you had asked me if I knew anyone.
Gotcha. Okay.
So
you're more prepared than you remember.
Right. Yeah. Than I remember. But what I do know is that like we included Jonna like, I don't know, 2 weeks prior and it's mostly because I told her I was going to do it. And then she didn't think I was serious. And then 2 weeks out, I was like, where are you? We're like meeting right now about doing this in 2 weeks. And she's like, oh shit, are you serious? I'm like, yes. Yeah. No, we're ready to go. She's like, oh, okay. Oh, then yeah, I'll be there. And so that's kind of where the Jonna edition comes to play it in there. I guess I can talk about where the inspiration came and how we got it going was, like a lot of people during the beginning of the pandemic, like I got really laser focused on like, how do I create stuff for myself? How do I create stuff for people that I like, for people that I know? Because, and I'll be very short with this story. I had a friend of mine who was on a huge production with like David Duchovny, and I was working for him for like 6 weeks on set. And I just kept telling him, I was like, yo, every time they hire like somebody for one line, like that looks similar to me, I was like, yo, hire me for that. Hire me for that. And my friend was like, oh yeah. We'll do that. And then 6 weeks go by, and at no point there's like 6 different roles that like somebody had one line that I could have done. And I worked my ass off, 4 a.m. to like 6 p.m. every day working production. And it never came. And so I was just like, once the pandemic hit, I was like, why am I doing a lot of this work when I could be doing that, and I should be doing that? And I don't want necessarily people thinking that I'm just on the production side of things,
right.
When ultimately I'm an actor and I'm a filmmaker and I'm that's the umbrella I want to be under, not the production side, which there's nothing wrong with it. It's just, that's the side that I want to be on, the filmmaking side.
Right.
And so I was sitting at home during the pandemic, 3, 4, 5 months in, and I was like, what am I going to do for myself? What am I going to do? I'm like literally going crazy. So I'm cleaning out my email, and then I come across a script.
That was what happened?
Yeah. And then I was like, oh shit. Oh, I forgot about this. So we filmed for one day this script right out of college. Our film guys from Missouri State had it.
Would that have been like circa 2007?
2008, yeah.
So that's over a decade prior to
correct,
Paradiso.
yes. Okay. 15 years, I think.
Wow.
And we filmed for one night, and the next day he goes, none of this is usable at all. And so we filmed for, 10 hours, and he was just like, we didn't light it at all. And the cameras couldn't take that back then, couldn't pull the stuff out. And so that's what happened. And so I came across it. I was like, oh shit, the bones are there. The story is there. I love this. I want to do this for myself because it's like action-y. It's like drama. I don't get to do a lot of this stuff.
It's someone's real lived story.
Correct. Yes. Yeah. And I can relate to it. I can empathize.
Yeah.
I'm not very empathetic naturally. And so
I would beg to
No, anybody who knows me knows that I am just cold and dead.
Oh my gosh. Biggest lie on this podcast.
So
get out of here.
So yeah, so I ended up reaching out to the guy, and he was in LA at the time.
The writer,
yeah.
Okay.
And he was like, I completely forgot about this thing. If you want to do it, go ahead. And I was like, yes, but I'd like to make some changes. And he was like, yeah, let me write some stuff. And so then he made some changes. So he did a first script, second script, and then I ended up being like, I don't love a lot of the stuff from the second one. So I kind of combined them, and then that came up with Paradiso. Jonna, hello, Jonna.
Hi.
Hello, Jonna.
Director of Paradiso. How did you get involved with Paradiso? Do you remember?
I do remember. I think there was an email or a text message could have just been a text message. Hey, do you want to direct a film? And when Lenny asks, I just say, yeah, Yeah, the answer is yes. What are we doing? So the timing just worked out great. And then we looked at the script and we figured out how to make it something we could actually film with the budget. And then we did the thing.
Yeah.
That's the short story.
That is the short story. So Jonna, you are from here. Not from here, sorry. You're from Florida, was in Springfield for a while your kids grew up and went through high school.
Do you want me to do the whole how it all happened?
Yeah.
So Jonna was born in Missouri. I left when I was 5.
Were you born in Springfield?
I was born in Springfield, Missouri, at Cox North.
Wow.
When it was a normal hospital.
Lucky Springfield. That's amazing.
I love you.
I love you.
And then I was raised in Nashville, Tennessee.
Oh, right, because the music thing.
Yeah, my dad's a musician, so I went there, got an agent. That's when I started acting professionally. And then when I was 16, we moved to Orlando, Florida, got another agent, went to a performing arts high school, did Texas for a minute. Then I was like, I think I'll be a teenage mom. That's a great idea. Came back to Florida. Then I was in Missouri. Then I was in Los Angeles. Then I was in Missouri for school at Missouri State University for a few years. This is when I connected with Lenny, which was awesome. Lifelong friend here. We were in the Bachelor of Fine Arts program. And then I went back to Los Angeles. And then I came back.
And then now in Florida.
And then now we live in Florida. Yeah. Full circle.
You're still kind of pinging all over the place.
Yeah, I live near the airport so that I can come back to Springfield frequently because my family's still here. I've got my network that I've built over the past 10, 15 years here. I'm starting from ground zero in Orlando. And so I come back here.
And when you mean network, you're meaning like because you're an acting coach, you have students and clients here that you do a lot of.
Yeah, I started an acting studio.
Yeah.
I started an acting studio when I came back from Los Angeles the second time, and then started building my network. Started working as a producer and a director and a casting director, acting coach. I had already been in all of the local commercials, so I decided maybe I'll just help other people figure out how to do it. So I started teaching. And then there's just a lot of people here that I still love to work with. And, yes, we can do stuff online, but I like doing in-person workshops and directing independent films starring Lenny Hernandez.
The one.
Thank God.
The one
because
so far.
Lord knows Springfield needs legitimate acting studios here. And yours is, maybe I'm uneducated on what else exists here, but when I found out you were doing this project, was so excited because I'd already heard all the wonderful things about Jonna Volz. I was like, I would love to work with her. Being one of the only or few legitimate acting studios, casting studios, directors here who has had a plethora of experience in the other big cities. So what a gift.
You can come with me everywhere.
I want to. Put me in your bag.
Introduce me all the time.
and a woman, and like all those things.
Yeah.
Kind of all those boxes that you can check that you don't get, a lot of other places.
Yeah. Well, and people like the things I was hearing about Jonna were from people who had worked with her. And then people who had heard about her. And I'm like, oh, who is this woman and why is she in Springfield?
Because of family, like most of the people who were here, affordable living.
Right.
But my kids were in school and I decided that I did not want to put myself in the market as an actor where I had to travel because I wanted to be there for the choir and for the track and for the violin concerts and whatever other things the kids were doing. Right. And then now they're all grown, and like my oldest said, she's like, Mom, now you can follow your dreams. I'm like, thanks, I'm 48. Let's get started.
But you've been laying the groundwork for all of these things to happen this whole time, which is...
I've been in training for the rest of my life, for my career. Yeah, it's been good though, because when I came back from LA, Scott Arthur Allen had passed away shortly after, and he had a kind of a acting studio that taught film style acting, but I was like, nobody else here is doing this. And I know some things, so I might as well figure out how to teach people. So I practiced on actors for a few years and then it started working.
It's amazing.
They started booking stuff and now one of them's a big movie star. And Lenny's next. Imari,
you have something special about you with teaching another person the craft of acting, but also fostering an environment where actors aren't just puppets. They're actually inspired to be their creative selves and live in the role. That's something I noticed working with you guys on Paradiso specifically. It was like, oh, this is like way easier than I thought it was going to be. I was like mentally and emotionally prepared for something much harder. And it ended up being so easy.
Well, speak to that, yeah, because I know there's a scene in the film that, like, you know, that you guys had moments prior to filming the stuff. Would speak on that moment in it.
Is this the bathroom scene?
Well,
Yes.
yeah, right before that. Well, let me back up and say,
sure.
I mean, I direct a lot of short projects with acting students who are kind of new at it. So my directing is often directing coaching. And whenever Lenny said, you know, Imari's going to do this, I was like, I've never met her. This sounds so cool. Like, who's this woman? You know, and then of course, you know, like all of the people that I know. And I was like, yay, Lenny, you get to do something dramatic that's not commercial and campy and Nickelodeon. Let's do this. Yay. And what was such a treat for me was working with two lead brilliant actors. Oh. So then I got to like do directing and I didn't need to do the coaching part. I was like, let's speak in code. Let me get inside your head. Let's talk about people that you know. And then we had our own secret moment. I don't know that we want to reveal all our secrets. But, you know, Mari and I had a chat and she went, oh yeah. And then she just let that hit her and she was vulnerable and brave at the same time. And, you know, has one of the most beautiful, heartwarming moments of the movie that should be longer than it is in the short. There's a longer version of it that will exist in the director's cut.
So there is, that will be in the director's cut. Yes, absolutely. John is insistent that the short film is currently too short, which I think is the right length. While she isn't wrong, it does kind of cut into this moment a little bit mid-moment compared to the lead up to it. But I will say, being on set and being behind the camera and watching this moment with Imari, and this, I think this might have been the first day. Was this the first day? I think. Was it?
We did not do it all in one day, right? It
No,
was
it was his second day.
Was it second day?
No,
It was
but
the first thing on the second day.
Wasn't it the second location?
It was
Yeah.
I think it was. Yeah.
I think we started downtown and then moved to the
100%.
Yeah.
facility.
100%.
Yeah.
Right?
So I have a feeling it was very early on that Imari did this, and being a person who's just watching, you know, on the monitor and then going, you know, my face is just lighting up like, oh shit, yeah. You know, like, oh yeah, that looks great. I don't know what you did, Jonna, but damn, that is.
She did
exactly
the work.
what-
She just, you know, we had the chat, and I had worked with Chase a few times, so he and I kind of understood each other. He's so awesome to work with. He's just so
And who's
easy.
Chase?
Chase Elliott is our cinematographer, director of photography, and he'd worked on some smaller projects for me previous. And then I'd also had just the year before directed another independent film with my students, so it was a little bit more coaching. And in retrospect, I was like, God, man, I need to stop saying cut so much and just let it go. So I was able to do that, and it worked, because sometimes you just need to let the moment go. And when the cinematographer is listening to the director and the director's listening to the actor, and we're all just in sync, beautiful things happen.
It's true. And I will say, being emotionally available on set is probably one of the most like daunting things about acting, I think, for me, specifically film acting. With theater, it's, you know, which I'm at heart a theater girl. So you get to tell the story beginning, middle to end, no stops.
So that's progression. You get that progression.
You get the progression. You're living in the set as it's happening. It's live theater. So it's much easier to stay emotionally intact. I had gone through bouts throughout my acting career with film and TV where I struggled with that. And I remember being in one of the acting classes I was a part of for like the longest time. I started coming to like emotional block when it would come to scenes, and I wasn't able to like hit my emotional buttons, you know, turn it on, turn it off, turn it on, turn it off. And a lot of that I really think had to do with the environment with which the acting coach was creating. For me, at least, it just wasn't working for me. And that's, I think, why I was so grateful for our experience together. But Jonna, as a director, like, you made it so easy. And I don't know how else to say it, but it felt like a safe place to be vulnerable. And I was excited to get there, and I wasn't like forcing it. I wasn't pushing it. You made it really easy to, like, we talked, we had our little conversation, and then I was there. And I was like, I get it now. And it's so much of that is just due, I think so many of actors' greatest moments on screen is due to the director, to the set, to their co-actors. And we had a great team. Like, I was like pleasantly surprised with the team we had. It was magical. So I really have you guys to thank for that. That was...
Well, and that's kind of having worked with Jonna on other things, not that we were producing and making ourselves, but like the things that she's talking about, these like short scenes and stuff that she's doing with Chase and stuff. Working with Jonna, you can see her literally changing tactics at like an actor, like a coach, per person, like figuring out what it was or what it is that works for that person. Mm-hmm. And so I wasn't privy to whatever your conversation was at all. But knowing that Jonna was like, oh yeah, I just talked to her, and I was like, okay, cool. Let's see how it goes. And then it was like, oh shit, yeah, whatever you did, Mari's just crushing right now. You know what I'm saying? And so that was...
Just bawling at 3 a.m. in a bathroom.
Yeah, exactly.
Don't mind me.
Unprompted.
Can we talk about my favorite scene?
Sure.
Yes,
yeah.
please.
Do we tell what happens on this podcast? Or
Sure.
Can we keep
Yeah.
it? Okay.
We've got a trailer. We'll
We'll assume you guys know that Mari's character is in trouble.
Correct. Yeah.
Dire situation. So we're filming because it's an independent film. This is the way we roll. We're guerrilla. We decided that we were going to do this scene where she's in pain and they got to hide somewhere because for whatever reason we just justify it. Okay, they don't go to the hospital. We don't know why. They just don't. But we're in a parking garage downtown. And of course, for us, if the police show up, we're winning because we call it production value. Now, if they're showing up because they don't want us there, we'll deal with that later. So it was 3:00 in the morning, and we're getting like some of the last shots. And these are pretty emotional stuff. And just right on time, this security car like drives past in the background of the shot. And so me and the cinematographer were all like, yes, 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 yes. And he's like, what are you guys doing here? And I'm like, we're just making a movie. I just looked at him. I was like twirling my hair. I'm like, it's fine. I literally told him, I was like, it's fine. We're almost done. We'll be done in 30 minutes. Okay. I just looked at him like, you can go now. And he was like, I don't understand what's happening.
And he's just like, okay, I'll get out. I
guess I was like, we're just making a movie.
In the most persuasive, glowy, fantastic way.
exactly.
As only Jonna can pull off. Like, we're just making a movie.
The shitty thing is that that's not in the film. That'll be in our long cut.
It'll be in the long
Yeah.
cut. But it was a good moment for us.
We ended up getting very lucky, and because we were stealing a lot of shots, we ended up getting to steal a lot of police footage, sirens, because we were filming downtown Springfield on a Thursday night.
Just happened to have some
so
huge
many.
event where there's like 6 cop cars and we're shooting in an alley. And then we see all these lights flashing and sirens, and we're thinking, what's going on? And we look down the street and they're closing off a whole street. I know Lenny and Chase just look at each other and their eyes get wide and they're like, we're going. They took off. Lenny looked at me like basically with no words, like, I'm not waiting for you. We're gone.
I'm out. Yeah.
Bye. We're going to go. So they shot like as if all of these cop cars showed up for us.
Yeah.
Like we hired them all. We closed down the street, the background.
You mean you didn't do that? You
No.
didn't set that up?
If anybody, whoever's listening to this podcast, they know the truth. The rest of the people, they don't need to know.
I am slightly worried not worried. No, because I made sure that like we panned off of where this location is. So therefore we can't tell whose police department this is, that it's just police and sirens.
See, we call that like, we have this internal joke where we're like, make sacrifices to the film gods so we can be rewarded. And we're like, thank you to the film gods. And I think, was it earlier that summer? Maybe it was later. Anyways, there's always a sacrifice, right? Whether it's sleep or you lose something, a lens breaks. Not that should ever happen. I know in another movie that Bo and Chase worked on, they completely sunk a drum in the river.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
And
so
I
yeah.
watched it happen, or in the Lake of the Ozarks. I watched it just go down, and they just. And I thought, well, that was the sacrifice to the film gods, because they ended up getting $3.5 million to get the movie made into a feature.
Wow.
It was a good sacrifice.
That's a great sacrifice.
Let's hold right there for a second. We're right at 20 or 30 minutes. Would that be a good time to?
Yeah, let's restart it.
Yeah. Cool. We'll take a 90-second break.
Are we getting Ryan in on this?
Oh, Ryan should pop in here towards the end. Let's pull Ryan in because I'm interested in hearing some stuff. Justin, do you want to? So let's hit.
Is Justin going to be asking the questions
Yeah,
now,
I know,
Mr. Pod? Because you're so used to doing
I'm
it.
just so used to it. Yeah, I'm sorry.
I just let him
Justin,
go.
get in. Yeah, I know. I'm watching Justin just sit back and just go.
I'm just like, it's all good. I'm here.
But I would love to get. Let's go right into like challenges, differences, lessons learned, and then let's do advice, and then let's talk about Paradiso moving forward when it comes to awards, because we have these two that. Yeah, the
Little baby.
Little baby, that's so cute. Did you just get back in town?
I've been here since Monday.
Oh, so yes.
Yes, but I'm leaving Monday.
Tomorrow? Oh no, Sunday. Okay.
My
leave
gosh,
Monday.
for a week at a time.
Yeah, but this one was like Becca I actually bought her a plane ticket on her birthday in April because she wanted to come hang out with a boy, but they were going to do it in October. And I was like, that's a really
Is this
long
younger girl?
My middle daughter.
Middle.
My middle child.
One of yours
youngest
just got
one.
married, right?
That's the oldest one, yeah.
Yes.
Whew.
How amazing.
Yep, it's over.
Oh, yeah. But that was a lot.
Midday, Justin just
But
said.
Becca,
Yeah, what were some of
so
the
she ended up
challenges?
changing her flight to
Start
November,
there.
and then
Yeah.
she said, "Hey, Mama, do you want to go to Missouri with me?" Like a
Kinda
couple
framed
months
it
ago,
like-
and I'm
Aw.
like,
So we talked
"Sure."
about
She's like, "The
getting
tickets
into
are really
production,
cheap. I'll
we
just
talked
get
about-
yours."
Nice.
I'm like, "I'm sure I can
Let's talk
figure out
about,
something to do up there for a week."
Yep. Here you are.
Of course, I had like
Performance
7
throughout the production and
auditions that my
stuff like
agent
that.
sent me
And
that
then ask-
conflicted with the
you
1
can ask
week
me
I was in
directly.
here.
Of course.
And then I'll-
Isn't that always like the second you leave, all of the auditions come?
I will not. I will have to decline
just still
that,
rolling.
Sarah.
Oh.
Oh well. More will come.
Well, now the strike is over.
All right, Justin, hit us up.
All right. So we've been talking about Paradiso, right? Kind of what build up led us to this point. So can you guys allude to some of the challenges you guys faced during all the stages of production, pre, post, on set? I know we've kind of alluded to some of the problems you guys have run into on set, but just what are some of the challenges you guys ran into?
Well, Jonna talked about like the production value and the production gods of getting these sirens, these cop cars, because we had cut all of that in the latest stages of things because we were like, there's no way we can get this. We asked the police department here, and they're like, no, of course not.
Oh, this is prior to filming?
Prior to filming,
Wow.
yeah. And so we were,
Pre-production.
yeah, and so we're like, okay, cool. So we'll cut all that. We'll make everyone security guards and not police officers. So that was kind of something we did, and then we just got really lucky on the day, filming Thursday night, and then there are a lot of stuff happening downtown and picking that up.
Location stuff.
Location stuff was, Jonna did a great job of finding location stuff. I ended up having the apartment. My work graciously was like, yeah, just don't disrupt a bunch of the seniors. And I was like, cool. So we're going
Which
to be
we
filming.
definitely had
hold on.
seniors like strolling through while we were
Hold on.
filming.
I was gonna say, hold on. You got to allude to the senior thing. I don't know if you've talked about anything.
Well, no, like the
about
company that I work for is an amazing company. They give me like a leash and an unlimited like rope to play on, and so like I asked, hey, can we just take up a vacant apartment in your senior living community? And they're like, yeah, that's fine. When is it? I was like, Thursday, Friday night. Yeah, that's fine. Just tell the building and just let them know, the residents know, so that way if they walk by, they're just not interrupting. So you just put up a sign, and I let them know a couple days before, and no complaints. We were there all night, 2 nights, and we just got, really lucky in that. I would say some of the biggest struggles, because we did a really good job, I thought, of structuring out our 4 days. So kudos to Jonna, and that was the
Emily.
first time, and Emily, oh my goodness, yes, Emily, for like helping structure all this stuff out. I would say the biggest challenges though were mostly post-production side of it. And I didn't realize, it was my first time doing post. And so I didn't know the challenges. when it comes to syncing audio to video, when it comes to creating, to honestly color correcting, didn't know anything about that. And so like we had Emily, who was our scripty. She ended up doing our linear cut, and this kind of alludes to what we talked about earlier. Then we sent it to Imari. Imari gave us a different cut. And we were like, oh shit, that's the one we want. But it's just that, like, I allowed it to take longer than it should have, but that's on me, having not known the process and, you know, trusting people. Let me backtrack too. Let me just say this. I asked all of my friends about Paradiso, all of my film friends. And you know how many of them told me to do this?
0.
None of them. All of them told me, do not do this. Do not waste your money. Do not make this. Don't do it, period. And I'm meaning like good friends of mine that I've known forever, just to get like their 2 cents. And literally all of them are like, don't do it.
Except for me. I'm one of his old film friends. And I was like, let's do it.
Of course, yeah, because I was like, John, I can direct
John
this
is like,
thing.
I'll direct it.
Let's go.
And so that's another thing, is like fighting that urge to like listen to people that you do respect, but then ultimately you still want to do something. And this is something that Paradiso is something that I really wanted to do. I thought the story is amazing. I thought like these characters were great. I wanted to do something that isn't commercial, you know, hi. Isn't Nickelodeon? Yes, exactly. And so it's just that. It's like, it's truncating. Jonna kept telling me, she was like, it's going to take a year. It's going to take a year. It's going to take a year. Like once we were done filming. And while it did take a little over a year, I feel like I could have done it in 6 months if I would have pulled my pants up and said, like, it'll take 6 months and not a year. You know what I'm saying?
But again, you don't know what you don't know.
Correct.
And other life is happening while you're creating.
When you're
it.
funding your own thing.
Oh, yeah.
And you don't really necessarily have the budget for post-production. You don't really know what it is. You know, and Emily is like beginner editor. And so she was like, this is as much as I can figure out. And then, you know, Lenny's and I, we kind of just nitpicked forever. And then, we do one pass and then I'd watch it again. I'd be like, oh, but that thing, he's like, yeah, but you didn't say that last time. I'm like, well, I didn't see it last time. And it was like, and then we get through the whole thing. I was like, Lenny, that font is terrible. He's like, what the heck? You never even said anything. I was like, I didn't see it last time.
That was a hilarious moment we had, is where I sent her something, and then like 3 months later, she was like, wait, is this the font? I was like, that's the font I fucking sent months ago, Jonna. Why didn't you say something about the fucking font before I typed all this shit out?
I wasn't paying attention to the font. I wasn't paying attention to the story. And then they get the music thing. I felt like the music thing we were
back and forth on a little bit too.
One thing that's really cool and I love about Lenny, and for whatever reason, this just is what it is that we just kind of think the same. We communicate in a way that we understand what the other person is saying. To that cute little thing where sometimes we finish each other's sentences.
I almost did, but I was like,
I was hoping someone was going to hop in there.
Or like I'll think it and he'll say it. And so that's really great in a creative situation because it makes it so seamless and it feels a little more effortless and safe even. I've worked with producers in the past that have not made it feel safe, and everything was a conflict and everything was an argument, and that's just awful.
Yeah.
But that's not the case here, and it's great. But but there were a few moments where I'm just like, I forgot to tell you. And I didn't have, I don't have the editing program, so I work off of iMovie with acting reels and audition tapes. But he's the one that had to really nitpick and go through and deal with all of the BS that comes with the few seconds here and there, because if 1 frame, 2 frames, it makes a difference. Editing.
Yeah.
It makes a lot of difference.
If it's a frame too long on every cut, then you're talking about 40 seconds that is unnecessary in the final film. And that's something that I will talk about, is the fact on the post side is that like I had to teach myself how to do a lot of stuff, because Emily was able to do the first edit, but then like I needed to come in and trim and kind of condense some things.
Well, we had to do the story. We had to decide how did we want to tell this story. And that we were kind of like, how do we want to tell this story? Especially if it was written as a 20-minute movie and now we're making it a 12. What do we cut out? What darlings are we killing in the situation? And what was so brilliant about your edit, Imari, is that you're like, I'm going to take this chunk of me out. We don't need that. And we're like, don't need that. Take that.
I'm going to take this chunk. I'm going to take this chunk that's at the end. I'm going to put it at the beginning. I'm going to take this beginning part and put it at the end. And then all of a sudden it like
we were so
back
locked
to
into
forward.
the linear script that we couldn't see the edit
and
beyond
Imari,
that.
I'm literally, it's like night and day with that change. So thank you. Like seriously.
Well, I was grateful you guys for even making it a collab. Like even from the filming, when we were filming it into post, you guys have always made it a very collaborative experience. And that's why I really never felt like, as so many actors do, like a puppet on set. You really felt like you were collaborating. And I think that's also something to say about you and Lenny's magic together, how you guys do have this cohesive way of like working together. It's that energy of like, I have a great idea, and then that's going to inspire a great idea from you, and which is just going to inspire a great idea from me. And it's that bouncing that energy off of each other in such a wonderful, fun way. When you're filming something that is really, the story is not fun. It's a sad, tragic, heavy story. It has so much weight to it. So I was grateful for
Well, and I'll
that.
tell you the reason why is because being a person who has worked on projects that have just died and you get nothing, you spent 2 or 3 days on set with people that you trust, and then 5, 6, 7, 8 months, 2 years later, you're like, hey, can I get that footage? Like, it was great footage.
gosh.
And they're like, no, you can't because it's gone.
That's a
And
real
it's
lived
like,
experience.
And I'm like, whoa. What?
100%.
It's gone. What do you mean? Like, nah, it's just dead. We're not doing it.
Or you spend 12-hour days and it comes out and it's just trash.
Or it's just trash.
Or
Exactly. You
they've cut
can't even
all
use
your,
it.
Or they've cut all your close-ups and all your wides and your audio's in there and you're like, well, cool, awesome. There's nothing usable for a reel here.
Right.
And that's
Which is like the most you probably could have gotten out of that project at that point anyway.
And that's what I wanted to avoid here. And I was telling Jonna, because Jonna messaged me and was just like, hey, I just want to say thank you for all the work that you're putting in on the backside of this production and making sure it gets out there and people see it. And I'm like, I'll be honest, like I know the feeling of what like people that produce stuff that I have had no hand in, and then just being like, hey, can I see that? So can I show someone? Can I show my mom? Can I show my sister? Can I show my brother? People that would be proud of me doing these things. And they're like, no, we don't have it. It's
Yeah.
gone. And it's
that's one thing I'll say about the whole crew is there was definitely a lot of synergy and there was a lot of experience on this crew. And I feel like
Yeah,
everyone really
that
stepped
showed.
up, and there was just a lot of people there that were just wanted to get shit done.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? There was no, oh, I think this, or I think that, or I think that's, it was just like, that's what you want to do? Sure, let's do it. Everyone was willing to hop in and just do whatever
Well, and I
was
think that
needed for the given task or the scene.
it speaks to the story, I think, too, is because like even some of the people on the production side were just like, as we're doing the scenes in the apartments, they're like, oh shit, this is like cool. Like you guys are doing cool shit. It's like, yeah, I mean, we don't want to just do shit to do stuff. We want to do cool shit, Yeah.
Yeah. I will say, going back to some of the challenges with having to rewrite the story, the original story had him throwing a rock at a convenience store glass window that's the size of a huge wall,
Oh no.
and it comes smashing down, which would be so very cool.
Super cool.
But we're like,
Yeah.
we can't do that's just too expensive.
Mm-hmm.
That's what a big budget movie does.
Yeah, exactly.
And so we were like, or he walks in the door, and that's how he gets in,
he tries
and
to-
it's just open. So we had to make some adjustments to the script that way, but also there was some logistics. We're like, well, because the location that we shot at, that was an exterior, was different from the one that we shot interior. In the story, they escaped. They ran away. But we were like, well, we can't really show how they ran away because the door doesn't do that. And then how do we make it look? So there was definitely a lot of conversation with our gaff team about how do we set the lighting to create an illusion visually that they just got away.
Hold 1 second. This camera went out.
Oh.
Good work, y'all. I like it. What do we miss? What do we want to talk about collectively?
Shout outs.
Yeah, we can shout out people.
Some shout outs, some people.
All the film festivals that you've submitted us to.
Yes.
and-
So yeah, okay. Let's.
Well, I want to shout out the crew a little bit more. Just kind of give our special, thank you to, Emily Trent being there, keep me organized
Yes.
with them. Like our
Absolutely.
cast that showed up, and let me see if I can
I know,
remember all their
and
names.
I guess I'll wait. I was going to say, I just would have loved to figure out how to plug her in somewhere, as an actor.
Oh yeah. So many people on the set so talented and does so many different things.
I know, and I love Justin. Justin's such a person, like great person on camera and fun and a completely different energy. And
Vampires.
he's playing a vampire next for sure.
Yeah, we're doing that.
He's 100%
Oh, yes.
going to.
That would be amazing.
And when we went to lunch the
I
other
think
day,
you should play a vampire.
Oh, for
because
sure.
you have that. She has that like persuasive
Yeah.
thing about her. You're just like, yes, Jonna, whatever you say.
and look at Justin was just like, well, I just haven't cut I'm just been too lazy to cut my hair, and it's like, dude, right now you literally could be a person who's lived forever. You're immortal, and you're about to eat something.
What's the movie with Tom Cruise and Brad Pitt?
Interview with a
Interview,
Vampire.
Yes, Interview with a
Classic.
Vampire.
The original.
Yes, the
new
original.
show is not.
Oh, there's a
Did
new
you
show.
watch?
I tried for a couple
I had high
episodes.
hopes, and
They did some
it
show.
didn't
No.
last
I
for
didn't
me
know there
past
was a new
episode
show.
1.
Okay.
It was formulaic. And
So we'll hop back
gimmicky.
in. Before we get into the awards, what advice would you guys give any filmmakers, actors, producers, directors who are trying to do their own work? Starting out, first time they're trying to do their own film. They wrote a script. They want to go about moving it to the next stage, right? What advice, kind of as a collective group here, what would you give them?
I would say the first thing is basically don't listen to people who are telling you don't do it. Don't listen to that. That's a big one. And honestly,
If you have the drive that Lenny has, then don't listen to them.
yeah, correct. Because I'm just so glad that I didn't listen to them. I'm so glad. It also takes so much less amount of money than you think to do something like this. While, I'm spending 15 grand ish, less than 15 grand, but it's 15 grand over 3 years. So that's barely $5 grand a year. You know what I'm saying? $5 grand is nothing to do and it took less than 3.5 grand to film for 4 days. So everything else besides
That's
that,
with paying your actors.
that's with paying everyone. Yeah. Paying almost everyone. Justin didn't get paid because Justin owes me favors, and he owes me favors.
I'll work for food. So
Yeah, and
Lenny was cashing in.
I work for
and
food.
exactly, and I
So-
fed him.
Well,
I got him a bunch of wings.
And that's one great thing about this area and filming in this area is there's typically a lot of people are willing to lean in and help.
Yes, but how nice to work on a project where you get paid.
Paid, yes, exactly. Amari got paid.
I
Jonna got paid
as an actress. It's really nice, and it's
Yeah.
Springfield, Missouri.
Yeah,
to
it
do
must
that.
be nice.
Yeah.
I'm kidding.
Really, really nice.
Fuck you, Justin.
Well, for me, I'm still in this place where I want to make more movies, and I'm living in Orlando, creating a new.
Please make more movies here.
Dude, yes.
Vampires.
But the where you got to start, for me, it's you have to meet people in person. You've got to go places. What I had to do to meet the people who I'm going to work with in Orlando is I volunteered on their set. I was like, I can handle crafty, and then I took a really low rate to do a UPM job on a short film. I worked with them. I put the time in and saw them in their element, and realized, oh, I like the way they do that. And so then I said, hey, will you help me? Will you act with me in this, or help me write this? And, he's like, well, I can direct it. I'm like, yeah, that would actually be fine, because I've seen you direct. I respect you. And then he's like, and he has the connections. So
all the other things, yeah.
making friends with people, because he's a directing teacher at Full Sail, and does lots of short films. So now he's going to bring in his cinematographer, who will work with him and not charge me a lot of money. And so the next step is find the location, and then either make my own, make the money, or find friends who will help support.
And let me be clear too. I said 15. That's high. I'm at under 12, grand total, all in, over 3 years. So it's doable. Just do it in chunks. Put it on your credit card if you have to, pay your people, and then pay it off over time. That's literally exactly. And the biggest expense, one of the largest expenses, is the festival stuff that I'm doing. Putting it in the festivals,
Which seems to be paying off.
which is paying off. Yeah.
Speaking of that kind of moves us into the next topic.
Well,
right?
why do we do festivals, right? That's the question. So we spend all this money to get recognition. It's a short film. We're not going to get distribution. We're not going to make money on it, people buying it.
Right.
So these are really expensive calling cards,
They
really.
are. Yeah.
Yeah.
And look at this thing that Amari has.
And you have.
Yeah, I have one, and she has one of Best Actress. Shout out to the Shutter Speed Film Festival in Dallas, where we ended up winning Best Actor, Best Actress, and getting nominated for Best Director from Jonna.
Yes.
There. Ooh, yeah, exactly.
So why do we care about film festivals and laurels in the short film world?
I have no idea. I just know that that's what we wanted. That's
we want attention.
Yeah, that's
they're bragging rights.
It's exposure.
Because what? Because now we're
justification.
validated, right?
It's
it's validation
of
inside
your work,
of
your effort, your time, your energy, your money.
Because like
your
anybody,
talent.
they can say, I made a movie and have an IMDB, but
Right.
if you've got really solid trailers or, you've got awards and other people in your industry are acknowledging that you're doing a good job. And some of these festivals are respectable. Some of them are, I don't know, but they liked it.
shit, but we're in, and then they're showing our film, and other people get to see our film, and that's huge. That's huge. That's a big part
Well,
of
it kind of like clues you into what works and what doesn't as well.
Absolutely.
I mean, I certainly didn't expect, after signing on or during any part of this process for it to be submitted to as many film festivals as you have submitted it to.
Well, I've given myself a cap on how much I'll spend, and then I keep raising that cap because I'm like,
Clearly.
oh shit, I got a new paycheck. I can throw another.
When you keep winning awards, it's kind of hard to not see how far you can take. How far you can go.
And honestly,
Absolutely,
and that's very
yeah.
true because initially I was like, I'm only going to submit for 15 film festivals. We did 15, and in like 3 or 4 of them, we ended
Which,
up getting
15 is
in.
a
And
lot.
it is a lot, exactly. And I was like, I'm not going to spend any more than this. And then we
also,
ended up winning
art is
some awards.
subjective, so
ain't that the
some of
truth?
those you're gonna submit to and they're gonna love it. Other ones
Yeah.
you're gonna submit to and they're not. That it doesn't mean just because one you don't get into.
Well, and that's what
means
happened. We got 12 rejections out of the 15, and then 3 acceptance, and then those 3 we ended up winning awards and then getting things from there. And I was like, oh shit,
Another
okay.
shocking element. Didn't expect to get submitted, didn't expect to win anything.
Well, and then I was just like, yo, if everything really is a numbers game, like as an actor, like auditioning for things, as shitty as it sounds to say that is a numbers game.
There's
at
so
the end
much
of the day,
truth to that.
It is a numbers game. Like
Yeah.
if I've like this year, 2023, I've auditioned for 65 commercials, films, those things, because I have it each one tagged in a folder on my computer, each audition that I do. I've auditioned for 65.
So organized.
And so like I've booked,
'cause you don't wanna go.
8 things of this year.
That's
But I know
crazy.
that it's 65, 8 out of 65. That's a high percentage. And so I know it's a percentage game. 3 out of 15 is fucking good. So if I'm going to submit for 15, then I might as well submit for 25. Maybe I'll get 2 more out of the extra 10. I'll submit for 40. Currently we're at 45, and I think I've capped
45 submissions?
submissions. Yes. So I've
From
spent a little.
15 to 45.
I've gone a
Wow.
little. I've gone a little
I'm
bit
excited
higher.
about the Florida ones,
Oh, yes, because that's your place.
Well, I'm
your
because I
backyard.
think the festivals, getting to know the people in the area, I think that there's going to be some competition,
For sure.
I mean, we understand it is low budget. We did shoot it fast.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, there were some technical things. I think the acting was brilliant. I think if we had more time with editing, could it be better? Yeah. Could you never stop editing your movie?
Right.
Yes.
Well, and that's where John and I have kind of came to a head at one point. She was like, 15 minutes. And I was like, no, 12. And I'm putting my foot down, and it's not going to be any longer than 12. We can do a 25-minute version for the cast and crew later as we get further deeper in the process. But like right now, 12 minutes, and I'm not budging because I'm not fucking touching this thing ever again.
Yeah, because we were just never going to stop editing it.
Yeah.
But the thing is like it's accepted into Tampa, and it's accepted into the Central Florida Film Festival, and we're waiting to hear back from the Orlando Film Festival and Sanford. Did you send it to Miami? And, I understand like a lot of the Latino festivals that it was submitted to didn't get accepted. However, it's not really it's not about the Latino culture, right?
Right.
Lenny is a Latino living in this situation,
Right.
and that's literally all.
That's it.
Yeah.
So I understand that. But it was cool that the Feedback Festival liked what we
Toronto.
did.
Yep,
And that
really
was one
liked
of the
what we did.
weird festival that I thought was actually incredibly valuable, because now you have people going on record with their face and their
That was
name
cool.
and saying,
Yeah.
here's how I felt about your movie.
We'll include that
Wildsound
link.
Feedback Festival. What is that? I know what it is, but can you talk about that? It's a pretty cool film festival. There's not a lot like those.
Yeah, and this is something that I reached out to them to tell them to let them know about is the fact that like with this feedback festival, if you get accepted, they give you they have several people watch the film, which we ended up having 8 to 10 people on camera talking about our film, what they liked and what they loved and what they didn't love about it, which was very little. They recorded themselves and then sent that to us. So we got a nice compilation video of this, like 2.5 minutes. On top of that, I got interviewed as well for them to post an article about Paradiso, and they'll sit down and do a podcast with me as well.
That's just so much more.
So much more.
Yeah,
and
other guys.
And it's worth the $55, $60 to like submit for to get this kind of thing. Because a lot of times I just submitted to the Cleveland International Film Festival, right? And it was a $95 submission. Dang. And like, if you're talking about 45 that they're not all $95, but like, I was just like, fuck. Cleveland International is a huge one. It's at a huge historic theater. It's massive. They are taking 500 films, and so it's like, okay, so there's a high number of films because it's over like 10 days. Oh. It's like huge.
It's a 10-day festival.
Huge, yes. Like the first 6 people are the first 6 days are on. The first 6 days are in person. The other 4 are online or virtual. Okay. But like it's huge, and so I'm like, fuck it, I'm gonna try it. This will be the one that I submit to high, and I'm just like name dropping in the like in the letter to him. I'm just like name dropping every landmark in Cleveland. Like, I've been here. There's a picture of me like hanging out here. Like, I know people who own businesses in this area. Please let us get into this. Let us in. And then immediately, submitting to like one of their smaller ones in Cleveland that's only like a $35, and it's just like, I don't care. I just want to get into these, and I'm willing to spend the money to go around to all these film festivals.
What was your formula in choosing?
That's a great question.
So the big things was where do I know people that would show up if we got in? So Dallas, I have a couple of really good. One of the only friends who said no, but is in Dallas. He said, no, I don't think this is a good idea, but if you were going to do it, and I was like, I'm going to do it regardless. You're the 10th no that I've gotten. I'm going to do it. And he's like, okay, cool. So here's some of my thoughts. He was the only one that actually gave me like
constructive notes.
Thank you. Constructive notes on like how to do it. And so he was in Dallas, and so I was just like, fuck it, I'd love to go see him. And so that's what I did. I did Dallas there. The Florida stuff, you are in Florida. My mom is in Florida, and my sister live in Florida. And so I was like, Florida, so let's hit Florida hard. Any parts of Florida. I did a bunch in Missouri, Kansas City, St. Louis.
Oh, right.
There's one in Joplin. There's one in Miami, Oklahoma. So we're like Omaha, like drivable distance to where I'm at, that we're at in Springfield, that we could go in 4 or 5 hours. And then of course, because I have a lot of friends in Los Angeles still, a lot of stuff in the LA County area. And really that's where I focused. LA County, Missouri adjacent, and Florida. So
all the places I've lived.
Correct. Yeah.
Texas.
Yeah, in Texas. Well, in Texas, the crazy thing
Nashville.
is...
We can do Nashville.
Nashville's next. Yeah, it's gotta be.
That's
yeah.
your other spot.
We could do Nashville.
Do Nashville.
We could. I like Nashville. Do I? Nashville's all right. Yeah. Saw Taylor Swift there as we were talking about. Saw Taylor Swift in Nashville.
Okay.
Let's say we're out of this podcast.
Let's just move on.
Let's keep going.
No, what were you gonna say, Jonna?
Well, I was just thinking I was about to do your job. So what's next, Lenny?
What is next? Well, before we go into what's next, John and I do want to make sure that we are shouting out some people that did work on Paradiso, which, Emily Trent, who was our scripty and then did our linear edits.
Also,
and
like
she's
first
also an actor.
First
right?
AD.
First AD. Like she was
an actress.
She was like
everything.
producer.
Everything.
She
correct.
just did. Yeah.
Wears many hats.
Many
Editor,
hats.
yeah.
And then Bo and Chase and their people that they had on. Clayton's.
And
both of them. And Weston, yes.
Yeah, and those guys, so it's so cool. We kind of caught them in the early stages of their career because they're young dudes.
Very young.
But they're
So
the ones
talented.
that are doing a union
So
feature
talented.
film, and like they're getting the funding. They're doing it.
There aren't many 21, 22-year-olds who
No, not
are
here.
willing to invest that much money into their equipment And
They might be
That's
24,
amazing.
25
Are they?
now.
I might be a
Barely
little older.
23,
Again, this-
24.
okay.
I guess this was about 2 years
They
ago.
were babies.
Yeah.
But
So-
they are now they can charge, big boy dollars
Yeah.
for
I can't afford Chase at this point now.
Yeah. No. But it was just so great to have them on our team as they were kind of building their own demo reel.
Right.
And then from there, we built a relationship, and I got to work with them on At Niangua's End, and Lenny and I are both going to be pulled in to be on-set acting coaches for that because they like working with us.
Yes. Oh, they're so lucky to have you guys. That's amazing.
Kind of waiting for all that to get greenlit.
And I hope I get to hold a gun in the background at some point, look menacing.
They're doing great, and they are fantastic. And
Yeah.
so grateful to have their.
Well, that's
artistry.
something that you're doing. What else are you doing? What are you doing? Coming up? I don't know what I'm trying to say there. Jeez.
Well, I'm producing my own 5-minute short because I want to do what Lenny did, and I tell all of my acting students so I have this friend, and he throws down his own money, and we shoot for 3 or 4 days, and this is what we do, right? I'm going to do it for myself. I'm a star in my own thing and co-write it, and hopefully shoot it in one day. We'll see, fund it, and if it looks as beautiful as it is in my mind, then I'll get to experience the film festival rush.
And you're actually just going to be able to act, right? You're not going to be directing, producing it.
I am going to be producing,
Okay.
but I'm going to be
So
acting.
that'll be a nice change of pace for you.
It'll
You
be
haven't
very
been able to do that
different.
in a while.
It'll be very different. But good.
I will say that, just like I've spent so much money on dumber shit that you know what I'm saying? That just is nothing, at all. And so why not, if you
That's
can,
such a good point.
right. And honestly, if you pair up with somebody to do something and you need 3,500, 2 people at $1,800, while it sounds daunting sometimes, you literally, if push come to shove, you can get that going quickly.
But like
Yeah.
you said, a lot of it's not all up front.
Correct. Yeah.
Not-
Oh,
yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like
Exactly.
you're not having to get 1,800 all up front right at once. Maybe I start out and we each need $500.
Correct.
You know what I mean?
And that's
Like,
once we
it's-
got to the color correcting and the editing, the editing was 4 months after we filmed it. So therefore I had 4 months to figure out how do I make another $2,000 real quick, The color correcting, I was getting quoted at 25, $3,000, to do color correct this 18, at the time it was 18 minutes. And I was like, oh shit, that's a lot. And so then Chase was like, I got a buddy that'll do it for 800. And I was like, shit, yes. Yeah. Actually, it was even less than that. I think it was 600. It's
all who you know.
And I was just like, okay, cool. He color corrected it in 2 days. And because he did a great job in 2 days, I was like, 600, here's 800, yo.
You're a good
Here's
guy.
another $100, because I had to come back and look at something else and then show me how to color correct. I'm just like, here's another,
Well,
whatever.
the way I see it is when you have a really good team, just like the Ben Affleck and Matt Damon, it's you just keep working with each other. I told them, all right, Lenny, so
Scorsese.
you direct the next one. I'll act in it. Justin will be a vampire. Amari, just be in town. Let's do this.
I'll do anything with you
Let's
guys.
just make another movie.
That
Yeah.
would be so fun.
Yeah.
Just
Well,
do
and
it.
Yeah.
so coming up, we've got, we will get notifications for this. We've got one more here. We'll get notifications slowly, probably 4 or 5 different notifications of film festivals each month for the next 6 months or so. So there's a potential that in beginning of summer, next summer, we'll get into our last film festival.
Right.
Well, let's wrap this up. Justin, what do we need to do to wrap this bad boy up?
Just spotlight. So where, if anyone wants to go see the film, when do you plan on releasing to the public? And also, what's the next film festival you're going to be in if they want to go try and make that? Orlando, correct?
Sendfloat? No, it's
So Tampa and Orlando over the next 2 months, which will be January,
December. There's one in
December, January, and then again we're waiting on the way that the film festival works. Is weird. You submit and then you wait 6 to 8 weeks to 12 weeks before they notify you whether you're in or not. And so a lot of things we've submitted to, we're just waiting on whether we're in or not. And again, 3 out of 15 is the rate in which we're getting in. So, we'll get a lot of no's before we'll get yeses. But yeah, those are the ones we're definitely in. But again, we're submitted for some smaller film festivals that I'm very hopeful for in the Missouri, Oklahoma, Nebraska area. So anybody in the Midwest, and then a few out of Los Angeles.
And then where can they find the most recent updates for Paradiso?
Yeah, Paradiso _ short _film on Instagram. There you'll find links to our splash page, which is on one of Jonna's pages.
That was so cool. Thank you for making that.
Yeah,
that
exactly.
Was so cool.
I used a template.
That was the coolest thing I've seen. Just having that, like, a compilation of where
of
this
it.
film has been, what's happened with it since its creation was really neat to see a comprehensive list of all these things.
Well, and I'm currently working on a trailer that includes all of our laurels and awards. So that
cool.
way
Okay.
because we have a 90-second trailer or so. The next thing is to make a 95-second trailer with a bunch of, actor award winner, winner.
Love
Since
that.
we've nominations. So.
We should probably also go ahead and put the schedule of the ones we have gotten accepted into that we're waiting. So,
Yes.
so that if people want to, or if they're at the festival,
they
they
can
can
go.
keep an eye out and say,
cool.
hey, go see the movie at the festival until it's released publicly, which will probably be in the summer.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
Oh, yeah.
I've gotten a lot of inquiries about since you guys have been posting all the updates on the film, I've just had the pleasure
Tons.
of sharing them.
Yeah.
And they're like, where can I see this? And I'm like, I'm not sure.
So one thing, and this we can end on this kind of topic here, is that I am going to attempt, and I'm going to put it out in the universe as something I'm going to do. I'm going to do a short film festival here in Springfield,
You're
Missouri.
gonna host
I'm
one?
gonna. I'm just saying. I'm saying it right now. I have no idea how or why, but I know this
Sign me
summer.
up to volunteer.
This summer, I want to
into
do one.
existence.
Period. So that way we can
This
show
summer.
this summer.
Okay.
So this 2024, I want to do one this summer to where I can showcase a 25-minute version, a director's cut
Is this
version
Jonna's
of
25-minute
Yes, this is Jonna's version of Paradiso that
I
she
can't
wants
wait to
everyone
see
to see.
this.
That's what I don't know how or what, but that's what the goal is.
Wow.
We will do that.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Yeah,
Well,
I did.
I'm
I
here
co-founded
helping.
a film festival in Springfield, Missouri. It ran successfully for 2 years, and then the pandemic hit.
Correct. So maybe
Wait,
we're
name what
piggybacking
it
off
is, 'cause I
that.
wasn't here before the pandemic.
Rated SGF.
Yeah.
Wow.
So potentially-
That's you.
I co-founded it with John McQuarrie.
See, so
And-
maybe
I could
we're-
have guessed this. I
we're-
should have guessed
We're
this.
piggybacking off of this. I don't know what we're doing yet, but something will happen.
They're not doing anything with Rated SGF, but it was pretty big. So, but doing something at the Moxie was the original conversation, but then they decided they wanted it to be bigger than the Moxie. But yeah, doing like a one day, since you've been experiencing this one-day film festival thing.
That would be
And we've got, plenty of friends who are making
come
little
see it.
movies.
You've had one of your films shown at Alamo, which is my favorite movie theater in the whole world.
Yeah, it was expensive.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be cool.
Well, Amari, how do we find you? Like, if we were,
That's what I was about to do.
Where to?
yeah, if somebody wants to,
online?
Where do you want to be
If
found?
they want to reach out to you, and
Okay, so I'm Imari Stout on Facebook if you're part of the Facebook crowd, and I'm the _littlest mermaid on Instagram. It's a long handle.
Because
we're not
talking about that. We aren't talking
We're
about
not talking
that.
about that.
Well, I asked earlier, and she said absolutely not.
Well, to be fair, I had that handle before I had that job. Yeah.
Okay.
So I was always obsessed with mermaids. And then I ended up, I'll just say,
fair.
I got a job as a mermaid. So I've been working as a mermaid for the last 5-ish years, on and off. But I had that handle beforehand. So
We can't talk about it, so if you want to know more, reach out to her. You have her
Manifest.
Instagram page
Yeah, exactly.
and inquire there.
You can find me at Lenny Hernandez everywhere. Justin, what about you?
Wolfgang Amadeus. You can pretty much find that on Instagram. There's a checkered story to that. We don't have time. And then just DeFreece on pretty much Facebook if you want to reach me there.
we'll just guess how to spell that, and then we'll hope that we find the right one.
perfect.
So there's only one. I've looked.
FREECE.
DEFREE. Wolfgang Amadeus DeFreece. All right, it's a mouthful. Okay.
ridiculous.
If you just type in Wolfgang Amadeus, the DeFreece part will pop up.
If you know
okay?
Justin, it's very fitting.
So it's very fitting.
Thank you.
I'm at JK.
I was supposed to say,
She's gonna get
It's
it.
fine.
No.
And then do you have a website?
at JK Volz.
So my website is
I was gonna say, do you want to plug your studio and your
Jonna K. Volz, KAE,
and then the acting?
and then acting for real, FORREAL.net.
Acting for Real, which is doing so many cool things. You guys should definitely check
Jonna
out
does
Acting
do
for
private
Real.
coaching.
I do private coaching
So,
and in-person workshops.
And do you do virtual private coaching as well? Like
yeah,
if
I do
there's
Zoom
someone
coaching
out of your state that you're currently in
Yeah.
because you do travel a lot.
Correct, and I've limited availability.
So-
and then I have
Casting.
She's great. Reach out to her. She'd love to work with
Casting,
you.
yeah.
Green Glass, right?
Green Glass Casting is a casting company that I own whenever my friends need me to help them find talent.
And then, do you want to plug anything you're doing down in Florida? Or you're kind of getting kickstarted off the ground because I know you just relocated down there very recently.
Yeah, no, not yet. I'm just unless you guys want to get involved in this independent film thing. If you guys want to come to Florida and make a movie, like let me know.
When?
Let's go. We're all let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
I am looking for a music video editor because I directed my nephew's music videos. They're hip hop, and I need it. Lenny.
I don't edit. Hell no. Just to get us out of here, thank you all so much.
All right. Thank you, everyone. Appreciate you guys showing up. Paradiso, check them out. Blast it on your social media pages. Let's give love to the area and keep an eye out for what's next.
Sweet.
We rambled.
Yes.
We did
that
it.
was
We
good.
rambled.
Thank you. Yes.
Great.
Thank you all so much for listening to the Paradiso podcast. If you want more information, please follow us at Paradiso_short_film. So thank you all so much. We will see you all soon and keep making projects out there.
Well, I do
But-
want to talk about some locations though, because like shout out to the Park Central Perk.
Yes.
You know,
Convenience store.
Central
really
Market.
the Springfield, Missouri area is if you know the right time of year to shoot and you've got connections, it's really aesthetic. It's got some cool spots. These guys, they were like, yeah, come and like break in, take over. Like,
Well, even here where we're filming, we're filming our podcast.
Ryan at Rogue Barber just letting us chill out.
Ryan is here.
Shout out in the back,
No
Ryan.
forever, and he's just the best. He let me do an acting class in here years
Which would be
ago.
a great place to do an
This
acting
is
class. in this
arguably
space.
one of the like vibiest places I've been in Springfield, Missouri.
Yo,
Not
you hear
gonna
that,
lie.
Ryan? You hear that? You hear what Imari is saying?
It's pretty cool.
He's like, I know.
Look at that.
Ryan, you want to step in? Find your spot.
Tell
Find
us about
spot.
your barber shop.
What makes you want to support us film weirdos, sir? Come
Yeah.
on, lean in.
Ryan, squeeze in close to the mic, yo.
Reason.
This has just been something that has been close to my heart from the beginning. I don't even. It's hard to say like why. It's just always been something that has been driven from the inside.
Well, you're talking about earlier that you were a creative.
I don't know if that's something that has to do with something that's given to you or something that is based on like kind of what your things that you really want to do are. But this has just been something that I've always wanted to do.
So Ryan's gonna be in our next movie.
Love it.
Yes.
We'll probably be filming it
Dude,
in a
there's not even
barbershop.
there's not even a
The
doubt.
haunting of the Rogue Barber.
There's not a doubt.
Yeah, tell them how old your barbershop is.
It's a 1936 Sinclair gas station that we reformed into a barbershop. It's been 100 different things between then and there, but
This by far being the coolest thing it's been.
Yeah.
It's cool.
We're trying, staying humble, but trying. It's I don't know. It's second home. It's a lot of love here.
And you've kept the like vintage vibe.
Yeah, we wanted to maintain the characteristic of what it was.
Yeah, you did a really good job doing that.
Whenever we first got in here and started to kind of take everything away, there was about 16 layers of paint on every layer of brick. And you can see throughout all of this where it's not fully clean.
Oh wow.
I actually liked it
I
dirty.
like this. I
exactly.
actually like
that.
it.
I was like,
the way
I like
it
that
is.
patina. I like it like that. No, let's show them where we've been. Let's
cool.
keep it.
It's
let's
history.
keep it real.
It's
Yeah.
history.
Let's keep
A
it
little
real.
pop of
So I
color.
also chose to do any sort of brick that was changed. I chose a different color to show the difference between
The
what
new?
was then and what is now.
Oh, nice.
So you have the old front door. You have this, which has the original filigree over the archways, and there's another one over there, but it's closed off because we had a wax studio in there.
Wow.
So yeah, we just wanted to kind of embrace what it was, and it's evolved so many times over the last couple of years, and we've been here lovingly for 9 years, and so hopefully we can make
9 years.
Yeah.
Rogue has been here 9
Rogue
years.
Barber.
Wow.
Need a fresh cut. Come
so-
out, check them out.
And
Downtown
we're on the corner of
Springfield.
Walnut and Grant.
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 Yeah, right across the street from Mother Brewery.
Yes.
Yep.
Yeah.
I grew up right over here. I
Come get a
couldn't remember the
haircut,
difference
grab a
between
beer.
Grant and Grant.
You know, they're so close to each other. They sound the same.
They are. It's a
Letter
D
out.
and a T.
Thank you, Ryan.
Ryan, thank you
Yeah,
so
thank
much.
you.
So we
Oh.
appreciate the opportunity, and thank you guys for being a part of this. And I can't even thank you enough for letting me be a part of this.
Oh, thank you, Ryan. This
But
is
We
so
wouldn't be
great.
here
Ryan is
without
also
you.
a fellow artist, so you're in a band, correct?
I was. I was a percussionist for many years, and father and mother were both musicians as well, leading up to me being this, and now my son is going into
Theater.
yes,
The arts.
yes, the arts. So we're just
Well, it makes sense
thank
that you
you
and
so
Jonna
much.
are friends.
Yeah.
With that being the background stories, because that's kind of similar to you too, with you having musician parents.
Yeah, we just vibe.
They
Oh,
were-
yeah.
His wife is incredible. We love her.
Yes, that's amazing. Aw.
Thanks.
Also, what is this picture over here? Is this you?
Oh shit. Okay. So this is year 1 of our anniversary of having Rogue.
Is that in Branson? I know that lodge.
Branson?
I know that lodge. I've been there before.
Yeah.
I know exactly. I know that
I
lodge.
got a fucking picture from it. But yeah, so this was year 1, and she just said, "Put your feet up." And she took a picture.
Well, let me see that. You gotta show the camera.
Yeah, please
Gotta
show the camera
Gotta
this
show the
picture.
camera. All right.
And
This is what Ryan is talking about here.
The feet up makes it. That's great.
I'm so happy that this is so. Mild background. That was again year 1. Went down to Branson to celebrate the anniversary of the first year that we were open. Took that picture, and then the next, I think it was the month. Yeah, about a month later, the Man Show started for Color 10 and just the community and stuff like that. It was just like all things dude, really. So it was like guns, cars, stuff like that. I was like, right. So went, did this, met Larry. Larry came in, got a haircut, somehow got access to this picture. Blew this picture up at Walgreens, framed it, and that was on my desk whenever I first got to the Man Show for the first year.
That's
You're
great.
welcome.
That's so great.
That's ridiculous.
brilliant.
But
Good job, Larry.
yeah, thanks.
Way to go.
Shout out to
Larry,
Larry
yeah.
Crouch. Yeah.
But what
let's
a
go.
journey, though.
But yeah, that's been there since day 1, and that will never be anywhere else. It
stays right there.
Because I don't know how many times I've had to tell that silly story, but yeah.
It's a great. It's a
Put
great
it in a
story.
movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
put
There
it in
you
a movie.
go.
Use Rogue Barber right here.